Are we back? We're good? We're green? We're green? We're green? We're green. We're green. Let's do it. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy K Trays, man. I'm back. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I know I've neglected the YouTube channel, but I promise I'm gonna try to revamp it back up. So, and bear with me. Yeah, we're using the earphone microphone today, so bear with me. But anyway, let's get into it. So, I don't like to waste time. First things first. I'm gonna go over this past week as far as SPY, and go over what we possibly got going on this next week. And I'm not too sure about the. I'm not really gonna speak on the war stuff and the political stuff like that. It's not really my forte. I'm going purely off charts. I feel like the news is a catalyst. Sometimes I feel like the data is a catalyst. That's why sometimes we react good to bad news and bad to good news. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes it's like, oh, well, we had such and such news. Why didn't the market react? You know what I'm saying? Or it reacted this time, not this time. I think a lot of stuff is priced in. I think it's just they use that stuff for volatility and, whatever the case may be. Not saying that obviously some things can catch us off guard if we just can't prepare for it, obviously. But for the most part, I'm just going to trust my charts, And even in these weird times of how the market's moving, best thing is always to stay patient. So let's get into it real quick. So if you didn't see, I'm pretty sure I don't really see how anybody couldn't have, but market rallied pretty good this week. So opened at 655, a nice almost $24 move. A little longer if you go straight from wick to wick. Let's see, wick to wick. Ooh, $31. Okay, that's decent. That's nice. But anyway, caught the whole move. I've been in calls since last week. 673 calls was my call out from last week, and it was nice. Caught a good 600% on the swings on the 0DTs. That did well. I forget what day it was, but whatever day we got was it this one? One of the I don't know. I don't remember one of the days. I'll show some screenshots, stuff like that. But it's been a crazy week, man. Actually on a pretty good win streak this month, man. And honestly, I know this price action is pretty wild for a lot of people, but I advise all newer traders and just very inexperienced traders to or not inexperienced, but just traders in general, just to be patient. Remember, always be patient. Patience pays, right? What's the saying? The stock market is a tool or device used for transferring money from the impatient to the patient, right? So it's always best to just be patient. I know a lot of times it's like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Or when you think you finally got a hold of the market, it just, everything you thought you knew, it's like, no, you're dead wrong, and I'm taking all your money. It does feel like that. It's just part of every trader's journey. But the one thing you can always learn from those moments is just patience. Patience, trust your charts, make sure you know your levels. You know what I'm saying? Keep it as simple as you can. Don't overcomplicate things. I think that's when a lot of people kind of get in their own heads, right? They start to overcomplicate stuff and see what this person said or what this person said. You have to realize that everyone trades differently. I'm going to be giving my perspective from the way I trade. I'm more of a day trader. I'm not really too much of a swinger. I did do some swinging this week just because of, upper targets that I did have. But just remember, trust your plan. Do your due diligence. Make sure you're back testing. Make sure, you can't just wake up and be like, all right, see what the market gives. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you do your time before the market opens and give yourself a better chance. And another thing too is I advise for newer traders. I know a lot of YouTubers and stuff tell you to, this quick way to make 500% at open. And it's sometimes it happens, but it's just not reasonable all the time. So don't take these YouTube videos as me saying like, oh, I made 2,000% this last week. This is how to do it. No. We position ourselves in order to catch the move. If we catch nice moves like this, God is good, we catch it. But this isn't a get rich quick, this is the everything you need to. No, this isn't that. This is just more realistic, more practical. Patience, right? Patience. Imagine you're playing Jeopardy, right? You're playing or not Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, right? And you got the little boxes and stuff. And they're like, all right, we're going to start putting letters on and guess. And then you just guess what it is. How could you guess? They haven't put no letters up. So, just like the stock market, like wait till it starts to paint a picture, right? Okay, could it be cat? Could it be car? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to give it time to paint you a picture, right? Before you just guess, right? I'm not a at open type of trader. Like I said, it works for a lot of people, props to them. But I advise for newer traders, give yourself some time, right? avoid that open. You don't have to be the first one in the trade. You don't have to be the one with the biggest percentage, right? You just want a piece. You just want a piece of the pie. So yeah, now we got all that out of the way. Let's get straight to the charts. All right, so what I noticed, right? So let's zoom all the way out, right? Let's just zoom all the way out on the daily. So we are still in this uptrend, right? We're still, since this is the COVID bottom right here, I believe, right? Yeah, COVID. Yeah, so we've been in this constant, upward channel for some time, right? Quite some time. So this is where we are now. This is where we are, and it's just a good overall look. So we did fall into that channel, and then we recovered back to it. So the only reason why, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why I also took calls this week is because once we started to get this inverse head and shoulder off of these lower levels, boom, look, you got a perfect inverse head and shoulder right there. So that's one reason why I took those calls. But another reason is just because everyone was just so overly bearish, like it's just the end of the world. And a lot of times we've had these situations. We've had these situations happen before, even not long ago with the tariffs, right? Like the same thing kind of happened. It was just very uncertain, very quick, very, just wild. And then Trump said something, and then it just slowly recovered. So I'm not really a fear monger. I don't really believe, like I said, I'm not really believing in all that. But if you look at the levels, right? So let's go back to the daily, right? We have all this range from the last few months, right? So all this range in here, we were just kind of stuck, right? We finally broke down. So the one thing that we always do in the market is what? Retest levels, right? We break down, we retest, we break out, we retest. So it's always a pretty good trade idea, anytime we get a certain level and we break out of a new level or we break down for a new level, we're going to come back and retest it. Now, timing that obviously isn't just magic. You don't just make that up. But, hold on. Get rid of this real quick. All right. So, when you're doing your, support and resistance line. So for me, I have this channel drawn since January, right? Since January. And then we've been respecting it from January to March, right? So I noticed this. Cool. Kept it on my charts. Cool, marked my certain levels, right? My 680 was my main level for, if we broke down, this was a few weeks back. Like I said, I'm going to try to speed run everything because I've been going off YouTube for a while. So just bear with me. So yeah, once we got the initial breakdown of this channel, right? First retest, we didn't really recover, right? We ended up going lower. So at that case, remember, always want to zoom out, always want to be patient. We have another bigger channel that we're in, right? So this is, mind you, this is on a higher time frame. So the higher the time frame, the better confirmation you can get, right? Not saying it just has to hold or it has to do certain things, but that's the whole point of us back testing and doing all of this and drawing these support and resistance and stuff like that. So once we kind of started doing that, threw my indicators on, which one? Let me turn it on. I always like to use the SMAs. Let me see. Boom. 200. All right, yeah, perfect, 200. So once we got under the 200 EMA, right? Anytime we're under the 200 EMA, it's not good, right? It's not good for the hell. It's just not good for the stocks, right? No matter what stock you're looking at, but being under the 200 is not good for bullish momentum, right? So anytime we're under, you gotta kind of be careful, right? We had this, multi-day kind of under, and then we recovered, right? Any kind of time we've done it, it's kind of been the same thing. Damn, I gotta stop doing this free trial. I'm still in the free trial of TradingView because I'm trying to get my trying to wait for the what's it called, the discounts, the 80%. I missed the Easter one, so kind of cooked. But yeah, anyway, we don't like to see ourselves under, and the last time we did it, right, boom, tariffs, we recovered. This one was based, like I said, on the Iran stuff, and Trump was kind of saying there's peace, and then Iran would say no, it's not peace. So it kind of gave us this very whipsaw price action, and over time we've kind of seen that. Not to say war is bullish, but sometimes we do get these bullish moves coming from war and stuff like that, right? People always kind of throw that out there, like war is bullish. It can be, but you still got to know when you want to catch these moves, right? So once we swept, right, we had both these lows. We haven't revisited this. I think the last time we did this also was some new stuff, right over there, right? So we had this kind of support. We bounced the first time, went lower. Once we recovered, right, this was where that make or break had to happen. It either had to be, all right, boom, all you had to do is draw your little trend line. We either had to recover it or we had to make a new low, right? And this is where patience comes in handy. This is why I don't advise really trading doesn't say too fast or at open or lower than the certain time frames. I used to be a 1 minute trader, but it's just so much easier to stick to the 30 and the hour, especially if you're doing day trading. Whenever I do decide to swing some SPY, I'll switch over to the 4. But yeah, I'm not always a swing trader. I'm not really looking for that. But once we start to get this right, I can't even go to replay, but pretend we can't see it. Right, once we started to get over here, right, bounce, break down. I had no intention of going short until we got the breakdown, retest, continuation, right? That's what you want to see whenever you're looking for trend changes and stuff like that, especially when we've been going up for just, quite some time. And obviously you can't just blindly buy every dip, but when you got something like this, you got the first one, breakout, retest, and we just kind of slowly came back. So once we came back, we kind of created this, everybody kind of thought we were going to get this sort of bigger inverse head and shoulder, which we possibly still can. And we'll talk about that later. But so everyone kind of thought immediately from here, you just got to go long instantly. And this is when that news candle happened, but we didn't hold that at all, right? We rejected and still rejected the 200 and still continued to go lower. So we got the breakdown, retest, and we got the roll, right? So in that case, I still, like I said, I'm not really looking to buy any short positions. I will trade puts on intraday, but I just want to go up, right? I just wanted to go up. When you do get those changes, I'll be prepared for it. I'll hedge for it. But I like to market to go up. Not to say it always has to go up, but But anyway, so once we swept that, we swept the support. This was our old support zone, right? I swept the old support. We got the 1 bounce, 2 bounce. Boom. We got the fake bounce. This was the data candle, but we didn't hold it, right? And then one thing I always say too is don't really focus too much on the wicks. Focus more so on the candle closures, right? Because the wicks can kind of do you bad. Like let's say for example here, right? Let's say you bought into this candle before it closed. Boom, we got wicked out. Let's say the next candle you're like, oh, it's going back down. I'm just buying into it again. Unless you're, like I said, a scalper. You're quickly day trading and stuff like that. Like I said, if that's how you trade, more power to you. But I'm just saying, in general, you want to practice more patience, right? It's just going to help you long term, especially for stuff like this, right? You have all these weird kind of wicks, right, just everywhere. But see, look, let's do this. Boom. You turn the wicks off, picture gets a little easier to read, right? You're not really focused on all the wicks, the crazy, you're focused on what does this look like, right? Break out, retest, went higher, right? You could have bought some calls in here for 651 to 660. That's a $9 move back into the 200, right? You see how you put it all together, it kind of formulates this boom, big recipe for success, right? So once we got that, right? Let's say you didn't catch the first move. All you had to do was wait for, if we were gonna come down, right? We didn't continue higher. Wait for the close of a candle that would show continuation back to the upside, right? So even though these candles had these weird wicks, they're everywhere, all these candles are just wicked up. That's just, it's cooking a lot of people. And I'm seeing this a lot on Twitter, people just being like so frustrated and just like, oh, if you're trading this, you're just lucky. Or if you're catching these moves, you're just lucky. Like, no, it's not luck. It's more so just patience, Patience. The candles will still play the way they're supposed to play, right? Even if we get overreactions, even if we get, sweep lows or all this, this stuff that people like to focus too much on, like, it's just let it play out, right? You can still find profits in these conditions by using patience. So you got the boom, right? So in this case, now we're already like, all right, cool. If we're not going lower and we come back into the zone, well, I feel like I'm gonna, reclaim it. So what do? Wait for the patience. Don't buy it. Remember, never bite the bait. Don't bite the first bait. That's where a lot of people get screwed over at. There's a lot of people thinking with this, their natural retail brain. So you got to think in these kind of situations. I always tell myself, like people in the chat and stuff like that, like whatever your brain's telling you to do in those moments where everything's euphoric, whatever your brain's telling you to do, don't do it. Here, everybody's like, oh, I missed the dump. I got a short, I got a swing. Once that euphoria comes in and everyone's super bearish and once it starts to hit you, that's when you got to take that step back, right? You take that step back and be like, all right, if I feel like this, pretty sure a lot of us feel like this because it's a natural human emotion, right? But the stock market it makes you go against how you naturally should think, right? Your brain's telling you, you're going to miss out, you're going to miss out. Buy it. What you should do is not, right? You should just wait for the retest, right? Wait for a clean confirmation, a candle close, right? You should wait for these certain things to happen in order to, you know what I'm saying? In order to just, to get better confirmation, right? And like I said, nothing's 100%, right? Just because I see inverse head and shoulder doesn't mean, oh, inverse head and shoulder is going to play out, you know? But when you have other things that are lining up, like I said, your support, your resistance, right? I already put all these together, all right? We got, resistance up here. We got the breakdown, retest, right? No matter what we do, if we would have broke out, wait for the retest, right? If we break down, you wait for the retest. You never chase the first move, because that's where most people are thinking. As soon as a level breaks the first time, everybody's like, oh, it just broke, get in now. And then what do we always see? As soon as you get in, boom, you get that wick, and then it closes higher, and now your puts are cooked. Right, so zoom out, man. Be patient. You're not trying to get rich today, right? You're trying to get established. You're trying to establish yourself brick by brick, base hits, right? First base, second base. You don't always got to swing for the fences, right? Because you think you hit something crazy and then you're out. So, right, get the inverse head and shoulder. And look, we're back in this channel. I was posting on Twitter and I was like, I can't go full bearish until we break down, retest, and continue lower. And then once we continue lower, stay below the zone where we continue lower at that point, right? Let's say we came back up, whatever, how long it took, and boom, right? I'll wait for some shit like that. I'm not just gonna, the first red candle be like, oh, we're super bearish. Not to mention, like I said, zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out, right? You don't know what's next? Look left, right? Look left. Especially where we're at all-time highs and there's not a lot of levels for us to really go over. Just look left. Look, see what happened last time we were here. You see what happened the last time we were here. You put that on your charts. You watch, see what happens the next time we go, right? Not to rush into anything. You don't have to guess. You don't have to have your stress levels, through the roof. But yeah, just be patient with it. So let's see this 1-on-1 move, 1-on-1 from here, bing, 1-on-1, bang. Look at that, perfect. So I took profit on the open of that day, the 675 target. Kind of upset because I had 665 calls, 670s and 673s for Friday. But you never went broke taking profit. Plus, with all the pump and dumps, I kind of was like, I don't want to take that risk, But yeah. So just being patient and marking your levels, right? Being aware of your levels. Not to say that my levels are better than anyone else's, or my trading style is better than anyone else's. Just find what works for you, right? And this is what works for me. Breakout, retest, keep it patient, wait for confirmation, watch for follow through, right? Watch for volume, watch your SMAs, see where you are on the charts. How's the volume looking, right? How's everything looking? You have to put these things into perspective when you're trading, right? So just a little reminder, just a little encouraging word for y'all to just be patient, This wasn't really like an analysis video. I will make one later this weekend. I'm gonna wait till Sunday night probably, just so I could see when futures open. But I just wanted to come on here and say I'm back and just ramble with y'all real quick. So yeah, I will be doing some levels. I will be going over my main charts and stuff like that, as far as my actual day trading strategies and stuff like that. So we'll get to that later this week. But I just wanted to see you guys and see what's going on, see how y'all been, and get the channel back popping and get everything back going. So yeah, see, look how clean that is. Hold on, just take a minute to admire that. Look how clean that is. You don't need too much, just some lines, man. All we're doing is looking at pictures. That's all we're doing. Just patience, right? Just patience. See, like something like this, right? Let's say something like this. Let's say I've already marked this zone as a support zone. I've already marked it, right? I've already done my due diligence. All I'm doing is watching the market to see what it does, and I'm trying to see, okay, what reaction do we get to these levels, and I'll just play the reaction. I'm not predicting. I'm not like, oh, well, we know this, and this. No, I'm just watching the reactions. So what I'll do is, let's say, for example, let's just go ahead and do like a little quick, what possibly could happen this week, right? So for me, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, we had a red day. On Friday, we sold off, we held on. I'm just going to automatically, we're going down, right? No, you need to see some follow through because, I might see I'm kind of nice, not gonna lie. But anyway, so yeah, you want to see breakout, retest, confirmation. So look, you see you got this solid 680 level. Got above it for the hour. what I'm gonna do, if I'm already in calls, right? I'm already in calls, already called the move. I'm not just gonna hold and hope and be like, oh, it's gonna keep going higher just because we got one close above. You need another close. You need consolidation above and then continuation, right? Or even below. We couldn't necessarily go short. Well, we couldn't. We ran out of time on Friday, but it did look kind of good to swing shorts. Kind of mad about that, but yeah, and then it went up after hours, but I'm not concerned about that right now. But yeah, so let's say Monday, right? Let's say Monday we open flat. Let's just use this for example. We open right here. We're gonna wait to see if we open higher. We're gonna wait to see if we come down, retest this level, right? Because remember, over 680, we just look left. Where's our next level? Where's our next targets? Right? Cool. We got some boom support. Okay, cool. Where do we bounce from when we go to this level? We bounce up to 685, main level 688, 690. You know what I'm saying? So all you're doing is making these levels so you can refer back to them when the market's open. Because obviously, hindsight's 2020. I can just be like, oh, check this level. Look how this play worked out, right? But it's always harder to see when it's live happening in person. So the way you do that is just by looking left, being patient. Don't chase, don't rush. This is your journey. This is anybody else's journey. You don't have to feel like you got to keep up with somebody else. This is why whenever I am trading in the chat, like in Discord and stuff, I don't really show my position size or tell people how much I made monetary wise, because people will be like, dang, if he made this much or he did this, then my little 20% is nothing, you know? And then they'll size up or try to do this and this, like to try to match everybody else's trading style or trading, successes or whatever. And that's just not the case. This is no one size fits all. This is you versus you, us versus the market. So there's a lot of things you can just put into place. And there are a lot of rules, of course, that, should apply to everybody. But as far as your trading style and what you're looking for, that's up to you. But the main things you are still watching for is confirmation, you're being patient, you're watching for reactions, you're not predicting, we're reactive, right? So even here, let's break this down. Intraday. So intraday, I'm only looking at the 15 and 30, right? Super simple. It's way more. It's super clean. For example, let's look at Friday real quick. Let's just go over Friday real quick. Let's say you're a 1 minute trader, right? You're watching all these YouTubers tell you that, oh, you can make 100% in the first 5 minutes of the day, be done. Like, you see that all the time. People trying to sell you these courses, but it's not always the case, right? And a lot of the times you will get cooked, because that liquidity at open is just, the volatility at open is just pretty crazy. So sometimes we might sweep low and go high. We might sweep high and go low, So it's just, and it comes with time as well. You're doing all this stuff after a long time. But let's say you 1 minute trader, right? Instantly you see this one green candle, your heart's beating fast, market just opened, everybody's showing gains, posting gains, doing all this stuff, euphoria's kicking in, you buy in, you go red. All right, well now let me switch to puts. And you go, and you have to sit and wait through all this just to finally get, a hope that you get a clean move. Nah, no point, right? There's no point. There's no rush. There's no rush for you to make this money, right? There's no rush for you to take a trade. Some days, you being patient is going to save, well, not even some days, majority of days, you being patient is going to save you a lot more money than it is going to make you money, right? Being in a rush, fast money is just going to, as quick as it came, as quick as it's gone, I see a lot of times traders will be in some 0 DTEs, way too heavy, way too fast, and they'll be like, oh, I'm up 30%. Oh, I'm down 60. You know what I'm saying? It's just the emotions are too high. So, perfect example. All right, let's look at this. So we already got our zones, right? We've already marked these zones, and this is why I said the importance of charting. We've already marked these zones from way back when. Came up in it, rejected. So we rejected the first day, right? Thursday, we already rejected. Slowly gapped up into it, right? So when we gap up into resistance, I'm not looking to go long into resistance, right? You shouldn't be either. You should wait for either a breakout over the resistance, attempt, watch for the failure, right? Watch for some sort of failure pattern. Hold, you know what I'm saying? A few hours, 30-minute candles, you know what I'm saying? Whatever time frame you're playing. Higher time frame is going to be better, of course, for confirmation. But yeah, wait for that. And then you go on to your next level, right? Each level by level. Every play isn't going to be a home run, right? I played puts from, I think I just got this candle, right? I just took it from top of the range to bottom of the range. I think it was like 50%. Let me see. I think it was like 50% or something. I'm not really sure what it was. But yeah, like, it's a level to level move. Now, had I held it, I would have had to pray and hope we went lower, because we got this instant sweep candle was up 30, 40 more minutes, and then we finally had to move. So see how patience is it's just so much better. Boom, zoom out, right? What is this? This is chop. What do? Avoid chop, right? It's in the middle. Don't fuck with it, right? Or excuse me, don't mess with it. Yeah, look at that. We got the red candle, green candle, red candle, green candle, red candle, right? So we got all this stuff, and look what it's not doing. It's not breaking out and holding above. Remember, we know this is resistance. We already looked this up. We already did you know what I'm saying? We already did our due diligence and research. So what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for some shorts under previous day's high. What do we target? Gap close, previous day low. Previous day close. So once we cannot hold over that, broke, boom, you got a perfect, you know what I'm saying? Perfect level. And it's on a higher time frame, so I feel better about this play, right? If it was just 1 minute, people will be like, oh, it's a 1 minute double top. It's gonna cook you, I'm telling you. 1 minute patterns, like I said, you can get lucky, but it's just better for your mental, your cortisol levels, you know what I'm saying? Your stress and all that stuff. So always be patient. And then even here, look, we got I gave this entry as well. Hold on, I actually can. Let me just look in the chat. Gotta show y'all this one. This gorgeous play. Hold on. I said re-entry here, 11:21 a.m. Re-entry here, right? Because what do? Break down, retest, right? We broke down and we retested. Broke down, we retested in this candle. Broke down, retest. And then what do? Continue low, crack the low. We got a beautiful candle, gorgeous candle. And I think, what do we smack on those? Yeah. There we go. Yep. Going crazy, of course. Pretty huge. So, and then I had the 1DTs as well. You know, had to put B2A. But so yeah, just wanted to, like I said, just come on here, say what's up to y'all. Going to go ahead and end it here before I start going on a rant. But yeah, man, let me know how y'all want me to kind of do the channel. Should I do more lives? How I used to do back in the day, live trading. I will do live trading. I just gotta figure out what day. Yeah, let me know. It's gonna be mostly just SPY analysis on this channel, but yeah, hey, we back. But yeah, just wanted to come over here and just give y'all a little update on me. You know, give y'all some words of encouragement, and keep your head up, keep doing y'all thing, and I'll see y'all later.